Okay. Hello. I'm gonna make sure I have this set up right for y'all so you can see everything well. Hello, welcome. Welcome into my craft room. I hope you are doing fabulous today. All right, I think I have everything the way I need it. Welcome. Hello. We are in the craft room together and we're going to work on a fun project that I want to share a new technique and a new product that I am now offering in my online shop. Welcome. My name is Susan. This is So Inspired Designs, and I am always happy to have you join me here in the craft room. Any day I can be in the craft room is a good day. So I hope that you're going to enjoy this presentation. I'm just going to try to inspire you, maybe entertain you or just educate you. I don't know which. But when you do hop on, make sure you say hello. Let me know where you're watching from and let me know if you're new here because I love to know what friends are joining me. Anyway, I'm an independent designer with Chalk Couture. So a lot of times when I come on, I am sharing products from Chalk Couture, and pretty much I guess about 98% of what I'm showing today is going to be on my website and Chalk Couture products. So, excuse me. If you have any questions about any of the products I'm using, any of the techniques, please feel free to ask in comments. If you don't feel free to do, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, please feel free to send me a message. I will be happy to answer any questions because that's what I'm here for. So this is an older surface that we had on our website. It is an acrylic frame. As you can see, comes in this little board and base. This is exactly the color of the wood that it came in. And you can paint this, you can do whatever you want to zhuzh it up. But if you like this neutral, this is a nice neutral palette kind of color. It goes with just about everything. But this is just the little holder that this acrylic base goes in, or this, acrylic frame arch goes in. And as you can see, I already had a design on it. I'm going to set this aside for now because we won't need it until the end. But as you can see, I already have a design on it from this winter. This was one of our wonderful, this past winter designs with the dove, and I used a shimmer silver, shimmer frost, and a lovely tide color. That's a dark teal. So these are all chalk paste on this acrylic frame. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to kind of turn it into a fall look. The reason I like the acrylic frames and the chalkboards and glass and metal and things like that is because they're reusable. Not that I don't love paper and wood products. I definitely do plenty of projects or textiles with inks and things like that. But I love when you have a reusable project that you can, or surface that you can do multiple projects on, so you don't have to take up as much room. And this is just as easy to clean off and reuse. I can always put this on there again if I decide I want to put it on for the holiday season coming up. But we're going to do a little fall design. And for some reason, when I see this, I feel like it's fall. As you can see, I've already used it once. I used it on a textile, which I have not actually finished. I got to add one more thing to it, but I put it on a DIY. I inked it on a garden flag. So this is going to go out in my garden. I'm just going to put a little fall saying up here. But when I see these cotton, the cotton balls, cotton stems, and the mason jar, I just felt like it was saying fall to me, or a good transition piece for fall. So I'm going to go ahead and create something using this, and we're going to do it on that acrylic base. So, which I have now already misplaced. You guys, do you have to? Oh my gosh, it's right underneath it. Okay, it's one of those days. That's why I'm not on camera today, because it's just one of those days. I've been busy cleaning. We have the housework, unfortunately, even when we don't want to. I had lots of housework to get done today, being a little behind schedule this week with the holiday. But this is going to be the design we're going to use. And this, by the way, is says cotton. I don't know if it's a cotton stem. I don't remember, but it said cotton seed or something like that. That's in Latin. So we may put that on there as well. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided on that one. I didn't use it on the last project. I may not. I'm going to set this aside for just a few minutes. Like I said, these are reusable silk screen, self-adhesive, transfer stencils. sometimes when you use a darker pigmented chalk paste, which is, this was actually ink that I used on it, it will stain it a little bit and make it so the vinyl is stained. But as long as your silk screen's clean, you're in good shape. So we're going to set this aside for a minute while we get this prepped. So in order to clean off previous chalk projects on a reusable surface, whether it's a chalkboard or it's acrylic like this. We have multiple. We came out with this last year. It was brand new. It was revolutionary. Now we have um, multiple sizes acrylic frames that you can change, interchangeable even. So they're acrylic, so you can reuse them, but they're also interchangeable that you can change them out and put different things on the inside of the frame that holds it. I am just spraying regular tap water. That is just regular tap water. I don't need to worry about whether or not it's distilled or not. The only time I use distilled water, I usually have it in my little spray bottle here, is if I'm putting it inside of one of my paints or my chalk pastes or my inks, because then fungus can grow. So what I am doing now is I am just spraying some water on it, and that is going to reconstitute that. As you could see, this was, on here. I could do, well, I can still kind of do whatever I want to it and it's not coming off. But if I spray some water on it, let it sit on it for a few minutes, and then I'm going to use a scraper. You can use some kind of scraping tool. If you don't have ours, I have from my website, I have this one, but you can use something from Pampered Chef, like those scrapers, or I think you could probably even get something from Dollar Tree now that have scrapers. But I like this one because um, it's very stiff. It's not flexible. It's very stiff and it's angled. So that makes it so that, oh, you guys, I'm sorry, my dog's going to start barking. That makes it so that I can I can easily scrape this off. Sorry about it. That is my security alarm. He hears a car in my driveway. much on the edge as it was. I really don't think it's going to be a big deal because you're not going to see it. You're not going to pay attention too much to this. It's just going to kind of give it a backdrop. I probably made that more uniform than I wanted it to be. So I'll just get rid of that hard line there. And I may even go over it a second time, you guys, just because I do want it to kind of stand out. So I'm going to hit that real quick with just an air dryer. The nice thing about using chalk paint or chalk paste, this being chalk paint this time, is because it does dry so fast. So you can do a second coat and you're not taking a lot of time, because obviously you didn't come here to watch paint dry. So I think starting this month, I've kind of been rethinking my business strategy a little bit, and I believe I'm going to try to start coming live once a week on YouTube. So I hope that you'll like and follow over here as well. Excuse me, I guess it's more of subscribe and follow. I've been very active on Facebook for the last 3.5 years. And just kind of would post over here every once in a while, or do a live over here every once in a while. But I'm really feeling drawn to be over here more. So I hope that you will subscribe so that you'll be able to know when I'm going to have a new video out. I'd love for you to be able to catch me live. And if you can't catch me live, at least come back and watch it after the fact on a replay. I mean, after all, that's what we do with YouTube, right? We go there and look when we're looking for a project or looking on how to do a project. We come over here and look it up and watch it. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to just make creating a little bit easier. I am the type of creator that likes to give a lot of instruction while I am doing it. So because that's how I like to learn. I like to be able to watch it. And then learn and then go do it myself. So if it's something new to me, I like to see it first and then figure it out from there. So that's kind of what I'm trying to offer here. All right. I will rinse that out probably and reuse that foam pad or foam. A lot of times with those foam brushes, you can just throw them away. But anyway, so that's our first base. And again, that's ivory. I got that at Dollar General. They may even, if you have a pop shelf in your area, they probably have it there as well. Let's hit that one more time with the dryer, and then we're going to flip it over and do our other project. And this is really quick. And I know that you can find these kind of clear bases also on my website, but also in a lot of the craft stores. So if you're looking for something like this, I apologize if I'm making the table, I think I'm making it wobble a little bit, the camera. The device that's holding the camera. I love doing these kinds of projects because they're so quick, and when you're done, you're done. And you can either, it's kind of can be a jumping off point. So if you are not creative at all, you can do a complete project, even not painting the back like I just did. You could do a complete project from start to finish and it looked fabulous. And even if you don't think that you're a creative person. But if you are maybe intermediate, like I consider myself to be, sometimes I'm an intermediate, sometimes I'm advanced. That's still a little wet, y'all. I might hit it. Maybe I better do a little bit longer. If you are a intermediate, then it's a great place to start, and then you can add to it from there. And if you are an advanced artist, then sometimes these are just fun little ways to add another little unexpected element into your art. So it's suitable for all, and even kids can do this. Very, very simple. You don't have to have a lot of experience to do this. I will try to go back and put a link to my website after I get done with this, just so you can browse for yourself and see if you can find a similar project. This particular transfer right now, as of the time I'm recording this, in fall, September of 2024, is available. However, it's hard to tell when you'll watch this. If not, I hope that you'll just go to the website and find something else comparable. Maybe you don't even like the mason jar look or the cotton ball look. Maybe you want something different. The same concept will work with any of our designs. Okay, so now see what we have here? We just have a nice kind of almost like a watercolor looking background. Now I'm also seeing like a tombstone. So, you know, that works for that too. We do actually have a fun tombstone kind of project. So I'm leaving the base on this just because it's keeping it upright since I just painted that and I'm not sure it's 100% dry, but we're going to be able to do our design here on the front. Before I do that, acrylic glass, metal, I think that's all, or porcelain are they really grab our transfers because these are like big stickers, basically. It really grabs it. So before we will put that on there, I am going to do something we call fuzzing. And this is the first part of the project I'm going to do because I want, if you can see here, I want my stems to look like they're on the inside of the jar. Okay. So that's why I'm doing them first. So I'm going to pull this one off right now, this particular piece of the transfer. Okay. And I am going to put it on this cloth, which we call it our fuzzing cloth. It's a fuzzing. On one side, it's terry cloth. The other side, it's microfiber. These are great for not only preparing your transfers to make them a little less sticky, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make it a little less sticky so it doesn't grab onto this acrylic so much. Or the other side is great for drying or cleaning. So, all right. So I'm just picking up some lint, basically, is all I'm doing. And I don't have to do it a ton. The first time you use a transfer stencil, it is very sticky. And that's why a lot of times I'll use that first time I'll do my inking project, any of my inking projects, just because that's when I'm getting the best adherence to it. So personally, that's how I do it. But, you know, it's completely up to you. All right. So now we're going to put this on our surface. And like I said, I want to try to get the majority of it on here. And I think it looked like I'm going to be right up to the top. And it is flexible, which is nice. I'm trying to kind of get it in the middle. It is flat. Oops. I'll let go of it. I'm going to kind of get it almost all the way to the bottom. So I want to try to get as much of the design on here as possible. I really want more of the top part to be sure it's on here. And it is very translucent, so I can see through my vinyl, which is nice. I love that. And then I'm just going to smooth it down. I'm going to smooth it down. And you can see this, the area you can see through, that's the silkscreen area. And wait till you see all of the details we can pick up with this, with these transfers. Because of the silkscreen, we can put all kinds of good details in there that you don't have to worry about weeding or hand painting in. So the color that I have chosen to do the stems in is a color called Dear Diary. Now, this was a special promotion color. I don't even think I've opened it yet, guys, but look at that. It's so neutral. I decided not to do a sparkle, but do you see that? How pretty that is? That is such a pretty neutral color. I am actually going to stir it because it's been a while. I don't even know if I used it. I feel like I must have used it once. Sorry, I keep shaking the table. But that's what your chalk paste should look like. That's called our creamy, dreamy formula. So it's just the right consistency to go through our silk screens, with it not being so thin that it's going to bleed and be runny, but not so thick that it won't go through the silk screen. So that is exactly how you want it to look. And I'm just going to take this is a mini squeegee. We do have these available individually. Plus we have multiple sizes. Now, all of them are going to be in this teal color. I have a couple other ones that are in other colors, but that's because they were special promotions or they were a gift because of my designership. But that one would be considered a small, and this one's a mini, as you can see. This is very versatile. None of them are expensive, but we do have multiple sizes. We even have bigger than that. That's the that's the biggest I have. And then we also have some smaller tools as well that work. But I'm going to do the entire design in this because we're going to do something fun at the end that I'm going to show you with the Dixie Belle product. So all I do is just take it directly out of the jar and I go right over top of my design with the squeegee. And we do have an angled side and a straight side on our, whoops, got a little overzealous there. Luckily I can wipe it right off because this is chalk paste and it's just wet chalk, you guys, just wet chalk. It will dry hard to the touch. And as you saw on there before, it'll stay on there until I want it to come off. You can still dust this and clean it. If it needs cleaning, you can do that. It's just, if you let it sit, water sit on there and then you go to scrape it off, that's how you clean it off. But otherwise it's going to stay on there until you want it to come off. Okay. But we do have an angled and a straight side. I usually use the angled. A lot of times if I'm using the shimmer, I'll use the straight side because then I can apply a little more force, you know, to push it through because the shimmer has something gritty in it, whatever it is that makes it the shimmer, whether it's, I don't know that it's glitter or what they call it, but whatever it makes it shimmery is a little gritty. So I just want to make sure all of my design is covered. Now you do want to move, whoops, I got a little fuzz. You do want to move fairly quickly because this matte color of our chalk paste, this matte, can dry in 5 minutes or less. If I had my ceiling fan on, it would be quicker than 5 minutes. And then you just do my favorite part. It's called peel and reveal. So I'm just going to peel my transfer back. You see how I grab the corner, but then I move to the middle and I pull it back slowly. If it was grabbing too much, I would just do this. I would wiggle it off like that. But I think I fuzzed it just the right amount. But even that right there, it's just very monochromatic and it's very simple. A very simple look, but I think it actually, you know, I mean, it's stunning on its own. You could leave it exactly like that and it would still be a fabulous project. But wait, we have more, just like those little projects. But isn't that cool? So that's because we painted the back and now we have this fun design on the front. And again, that color was called Dear Diary. So it's kind of like a peachy brown. It's a tan color, but it's got maybe a hint of a little bit of peach undertones. Okay, I'm going to hit this with the dryer as well. This is just an air dryer. It's not a blow dryer. It's not heat. It's just warm air. So I'm just speeding up the process so we can move on to our next step. Otherwise, it would dry, like I said, on its own in about 5 minutes or less. So we're just helping it along a little bit because we're going to put another design over top of this. If you recall, I was showing you, we have a mason jar now that we're going to put over top of it. Now with the mason jar, so if you're new here to my channel, I love a little bit of sparkle. I love a little bit of sparkle in just about everything I do. So I am going to use a sparkly blue color because I love a blue mason jar. So I am going to use a sparkly blue color for my mason jar. You get to choose. That's the cool thing about DIY and these products is you can choose any colors you want that work for your decor. I could have done the background on this a teal and done this in maybe like in gray or silver, and it would be fabulous also. Or I could really be, you know, go more abstract and do it, painted the background in whatever color I wanted, maybe even black, and done pink, you know, like a vibrant pink or green or whatever works for your decor. That's what makes it so fun with DIY. All right, so now I'm going to take my mason jar and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fuzz it again because I'm going to put it right back on that acrylic over top the design we already did. If you don't have a fuzzing cloth like this, like I said, these are available in my shop. They're so inexpensive and it has the microfiber side on the other side too. Just get yourself like a hand towel, something that you can pick up some lint for that you use exclusively maybe in your craft room. All right. So what I'm going to do now is place my jar over top because I want it to look like these are inside the jar. I'm going to get down here as low as I can. And again, I'm trying to be like in the middle. Okay. And I do think I want my jar to be straight. So if it's not, I'm going to pick it back up and I'm going to try to put it back on there a little straighter because I want my jar to look like it's straight. My stems, it didn't matter, but my jar, I want it to look straight. So this is the longest part of the whole process. Give me just a moment. And I'm pulling that off there slowly because I don't want to pull off too much of the design underneath the chalk that's already there. So I think that's still a little crooked. Hang on. All right, we're going with it this time. So now I'm going to place this down and I am going to press out any bubbles or bumps, especially focusing on where my silk screen is. I'm not going to worry too much about the middle because where you see the vinyl, it's going to stay, whatever underneath is going to stay. So I'm just working on where my silk screen is. Oh, shoot. Guys, hang on. I got a bubble over here. Smooth that out. I usually use my fingers for the most part. That way you can feel if there was a piece of fuzz or lint or something like that that might cause me to have a little bleed. I can still fix it very easily, but this just, I can feel it if it happens this way. So this color is called Glacier. This was our color of the month. We offer a color of the month once the first day of every month. And this month it's called Jolene, and it's a gorgeous, it's actually about that color, but it's sparkly and shimmery. And that is our color for, I don't need that. Sorry, I need a squeegee. That is our color for September. So it starts being available the first of the month. And once it sells out, it's gone. So that's why it's always interesting. And they don't go into our regular lineup of colors. They are only available for that particular month. This one was from November of last year. It's called Glacier. So it's that nice icy blue color. And that's what we're going to use for my jar. That's what color I want my jar to be. You can choose whatever color you want your jar to be. You know, like I said, a teal would be really nice as well. I'm using a shimmer because it's glass. You know, in my imagination, it's glass. Or I'm trying to mimic it. It is glass. Most mason jars are glass, but I'm trying to mimic it being glass. So I like a little bit of sparkle. So I'm adding some shine to it through my shimmer chalk paste. So this is a shimmer. It's got something in it that makes it shimmery. It's nice to use this as opposed to glitter. You can use glitter with our chalk paste, but it's nice to use this instead of glitter because it makes it so you don't have a big old mess, you know, glitter everywhere. You know how glitter is. It's all over everywhere when you use it. And the nice thing about this also is it does take a few more minutes to dry. It takes about 7 or 8 minutes to dry, whereas the other color that we used, as I mentioned, takes only about 5. So I'm just covering all of this is a multi-purpose tool. I love this one. This one's good for scraping in your jar, but then this other side is just a little smaller squeegee. So I love that one for getting smaller areas like what we're working in right now. It's called a multi-purpose tool. So we're just covering all the silk screen with our chalk paste. And any extra, we just pull it right off because we don't need it. We don't want to waste it. So, oh, I missed a spot here. Okay. And that's all we do. And all of this washes up in my sink with just cool water. And I usually use a board eraser, you guys. Are you ready? We're going to pull this back. Slowly pull it back. And now you can see how fabulous that looks. It's almost looks like white or silver because it's so icy. Isn't that fabulous? That's my favorite part. Peel and reveal. And we used to say peel, reveal, and squeal. All right. I'm just spraying some water on these until I can get them into my sink after the live. So that'll keep them moist. Now I do have, like I said, I have a few other things. I have these extra little stems or cotton balls. I don't think I'm going to use those on those, but I am going to put the words over here on the side because I do have that kind of shifted over and I feel like I have the room for it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do it in the same color. I'll do it in that same color here. But I do want to dry this a little bit too, because if my transfer, as you can see, it goes up here. If it touches it and it's wet, it will smear it. So we'll just speed it up a little bit. So what do you guys think so far? What do you think so far? Isn't that fabulous? Tell me, I would love to know, what colors would you use for yours? This little guy may end up going on my coffee bar because I have not changed my coffee bar out for fall yet. And this guy may go on my coffee bar because that's one of my favorite places to decorate. It's easy, it's small area, and I can just change everything out really quickly. If I don't use it on my coffee bar, I have another little area in my breakfast nook area next to my kitchen where I added shelves, and I always decorate them seasonally as well. So it could go there, and then I could add other elements like other mason jars or other cotton balls onto those shelves as well to kind of coordinate with it and give it that fallish feel. It's a little difficult when you live in a coastal town or coastal area, you know, to be feeling like fall in September because it's still pretty warm. Okay, that's done. And now we're going to take this one last little piece. And like I said, it's the Latin. I got a little bit of blue on it from last time I used it. Latin Gossypium Nestuum, I think. I don't know. That's probably nowhere close to being right. I never did study Latin. I studied French. I always thought there was no point in studying Latin because you couldn't speak it, but you know, you can obviously, and you can read it, but that was never of interest to me. I wanted something a little more flamboyant, so that's why I went with French. All right, so we are just fuzzing that just like the other ones. Super easy. Now I'm going to turn this just a tiny bit and set it just kind of here like this. Over here at the edge. And this is completely optional. You know, it's up to you. You choose what works for you. So we're just going to use the same color because I want it to be subtle. It's not super important to me. Everybody sees that we notice right off the bat that it's, so it just kind of ties it in. And again, this is a very neutral palette. It's not usually me. As you can see, I love color. I love color. I love all the colors. I go as colorful as I possibly can most places in my house. But I don't know why. I just felt like this one needed to be kind of neutral for a change. So there we go. Isn't that awesome? All right, a little more water. Okay. So now that that's all done, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I'm going to hit it with the dryer real quick. We're going to move on to the next step, and I'm going to tell you about this so this is a brand new product we started offering this year. We have partnered with Dixie Belle. My company has partnered with Dixie Belle, and we are offering several of their products now. We already offer their gilding waxes. We had already started doing that over the winter, but then in our latest in July, our latest album launch, but we're getting ready to do a brand new product launch in September on the 10th, and that will be our holiday launch. But we did our autumn launch in July, and we offered this one called Sea Spray and this one called Gator Hide. And we also started offering Crackle. I haven't bought that one. And two some kind of stains. I forget what they're called. So that's now available on my website as well. And what this does, it's a texture additive. So I'm going to show you how we're going to add that to our cotton balls just to give it another little extra something. So what I'm doing is taking my white, my plain white. We actually have a new color called vanilla. I haven't gotten it in yet, but I'm just taking my plain white chalk paste. Okay. I'm going to take some of that and I'm going to put it over here. It's probably way too much. I always do that. I always get too much and I don't want to waste it. I'm going to put it over here on my tray. on my little mixing tray. I'm going to add some water to it. Okay. And stir it up, kind of make it a little thinner. If I need to, I can add some more. Okay. Probably do need a little more. It's kind of thick. Let's see. I don't use white a ton either, believe it or not, you guys. White and black, I don't use a lot. I use my Shimmer Frost and my Shimmer Shadow, which are the shimmer versions of white and black. But I don't use the flat colors very much, white and black, unless it really calls for it. Like I said, I love a little bit of shimmer. So I'm just adding a little bit of distilled water to this just to kind of thin it out a little bit and make it almost more like a paint. And now what I'm going to do is, I haven't even opened this yet. I am going to add some of this to my chalk paste to give me a texturizer, basically. Okay. And a little bit of this goes a long way. It's not going to take much, but basically, if you have heard of, oh, what's it called? I haven't done it, but I'm sure you've heard of it. If you are a crafter at all, you've heard of it. All right, guys, hang on. I got to find a little scoop. I have a little spoon. A little ice cream testing spoon. Guys, don't throw away stuff. You can use almost anything in the craft room. Look, that's one of those little, when you go to an ice cream shop and they let you taste a sample. I kept it so that I could use it in the craft room. So I'm just going to take a little scoop of this and I'm going to add it to it. And I don't know if that's too much. I haven't used it before. It might be too much. It might not be enough, but we're going to roll with it for today. And now I am just going to mix that into my chalk paste. And you could do this on any color of chalk paste that you have. This happens to be the one that I chose, the white. So we are, now see, that's way too, oh goodness. Okay, guys, we are experimenting. I am good at experimenting. I love experimenting. Love experimenting. Look at this mess I made. Shoot, I cannot think of what that other medium is that you can get that would be similar to this. Okay, that is so thick. We don't need it. I'm going to do it over here, guys, so I'm not spraying it everywhere. I want this thinner so it can be paintable. But basically, we're just adding some texture to our project. We're going to make those cotton balls look like they're real. And all of this would be able to come off later at another time when you're ready to change it out, if you want to reuse this surface, okay? But do you see how I got that? I got it on there. That's all right. I can clean it off later. So basically, we're just thickening up our chalk paste so that we can now paint with it. Wow, that's really thick. I think I need more water. So when you think you've had enough, just keep adding water to it. I am using my distilled. It's not going back in a jar or anything, but I'm using my distilled because it's here. It's over here, and that's fine. Make it as thick or as thin as you want. I probably put too much of the sea spray in it. And like I said, a little's going to go a long way. It's going to last you a long time. That little jar is going to last you a long time. It's definitely worth having in the craft room. And you can use this for all kinds of things, not just this kind of project. You could use this for any kind of texturizing that you wanted to do on any of your craft or painting projects. All right, let's see if that'll do the trick. So I'm ready to move on to the next step. I don't know about you guys. What do you think? Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to grab a paintbrush. Well, I'm going to try to grab something small that I can really control well. So I think I'm going to go with a round brush. I'm going to go with a round brush or a filbert. I'm not sure which. That one's really small too. I think I'm going to try this one. We're going to see how it does. I'm not sure which brush is going to work the best, but we're going to start with this one. And we're going to pick this up And now look what we're going to do. We're just basically, it's like painting by numbers, or filling in. So we're just going to make this cotton ball. I'm not really painting. I'm just using the paintbrush to apply it. And I want it to be kind of clumpy like this because I want it to look like it's a real cotton ball. Okay. And you can do as much accenting or as little as you want. This might even be too thick. As far as the brush size, I might have to get a smaller brush. As long as some of the brown shows through. I want some of the brown to show through. I feel like that's even too big of a brush. Let's see if I can find a thinner one I can control really well. Let's try this one. This one's pretty small. That one's even, yeah, I think that one might work better. That way I can control what I'm doing a little better. Where I'm putting it, I want to be in control of it. So I'm just clumping this on because I want it to look clumpy. I want it to look like it's a cotton ball. So don't put it on too thin unless that's the look you want. Okay. And we're just going to go around and do that on all of the spots. Sometimes you have to really pay attention to it to say, oh, is that a cotton ball or is that a stem? To make sure you're staying in the line, you know, inside of where the cotton ball would be. But you want it to look realistic. Realistic but artistic. Do you see what I'm saying? Now this is obviously an added step you don't have to do. Again, as I mentioned, with our transfer stencils, they are perfect for beginners and novices and people who feel like they are not creative or crafty at all, because you can just take that design, put it on whatever surface you want, whether it's one from my shop or one that you found, or shoot, you guys, you can even do this on your microwave, on your refrigerator, on your front glass door, back glass door, sliding glass door, whatever surface you want to put it on, and just put it on. You could just use one color. You could have done the whole transfer in one color and it would still look fabulous just because of the detail. Look how much I have. I am going to have too much. I don't know if I can save that or not. I have a little container. I might be able to put that in and save it for another project. I hate wasting stuff. I don't know about you guys. It's not that I don't have it. I just hate wasting. I've never liked wasting things. Always tried. That's why I love upcycling and thrifting and repurposing things, is because I hate just throwing things out. I like to find another use for it, unless it's something I think is going to benefit somebody else. I don't mind so much, but just to throw it out, I don't like to do that. Do you see how that's adding it? This would be, you know, more of an intermediate. The beginner would be take one color or two colors and create the design on whatever you wanted to put it on. And then the advanced would be use this design and then paint around it, or I don't know, whatever other thing your artistic mind can think of. So might be a little tedious for you, but I think it's worth it in the long run just to add it. I love things that are 3D, kind of textured. Oh my gosh, I have so much. I know I have way too much. That's okay. That's how we learn, right? Experimenting. So hopefully you guys can learn from what I'm trying. And I also always say that if there's something you've been wanting to try, but you don't have it, or you don't feel comfortable trying it, and you want to see what it's like, and you have an idea, and you want to shoot it at me, throw it at me, and let me know, and I'll let you know if I'll give it a try. Most crafting I will try at least once. If it's something in the creative realm, I'm willing to try it at least once to see if I like it. I'm not easily intimidated by crafts. I might not be the best at it, but I will at least be willing to try it. And see, you go to however much detail. Like there's other places in here that I could be putting this that I'm not, because I don't want it to, I'm just trying to put it where it looks like it might actually be a puff ball. part of the cotton. So down here in the South, we call cotton Southern snow. And when my oldest was young, he was born, all of my children were born in North Carolina, but we were going up to visit family up in Maryland, and we would go up at Christmas, right after Christmas, the day after Christmas, and drive up and spend between Christmas and New Year's up there with family up north and into Maryland. And there's this one section that we would drive through every time in Virginia that had their cotton still out in the field. And a lot of times we might be driving either coming or going at nighttime, which is lovely because then you can see all the Christmas lights off in the distance really well. And they had a lot of cotton fields. And so you could see the cotton. It would just be glowing in the cold winter sky. You know, you'd have a clear, cold winter night, and you could see the cotton ball, and that was our Southern snow. That was always fun. I like that. I don't think I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go in these. Do you see how much extra I still have, y'all? I'm just going to go in here in some of these. But I'm not going to go in every single nook and cranny, I don't think. That's kind of why I painted in the back of it a little bit too, is to give it a little bit of, you could see the definition of the design a little bit better. Salt wash, that's what it's called. People have been doing salt wash. So this is similar to that, I believe. I've never done salt wash, but I believe this would be similar to it. It's just using a different medium. I don't know exactly what they use for that. Like I said, I haven't done that one, but I have seen people use it to add texture to projects. And I'm sure this is going to take a little while to dry, a little bit longer than obviously normal, even though it's in chalk paint. I can put it in this chalk paste. I'm sorry, it's in my chalk paste. You could probably put it in chalk paint. I would assume you could use it with acrylic as well. Let's get a little bit here. We want to have a hint of the fact that that one's getting ready to bloom. I'm going to do that one really light. So let me see. I think when I'm looking at it upright like this, I think I've got that pretty well covered. And like I said, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect or an actual, you know, perfect rendition or replication of what an actual cotton ball looks like. But look at all that I have left over, you guys. Anyway, that's what I got. What do you think? So now this will stand up. You know, I'm showing you right now, and it stands up, and that's what the back looks like. It's going to stay that way. Now, obviously, you could put a design on the back if you wanted, but I'm not going to for this particular one. But that is how it turned out. So again, we used, this is from the Dollar Tree. This is ivory chalk paint on the back. I just painted the background of this acrylic stand, arch stand. And then I used my transfer design. And this, I don't even know. This color is just fabulous. I'm not even sure what to call it because it's not really brown or tan. It's got some pinkish or peachy undertones to it. And then I used an icy blue for the mason jar. And we used some sea spray, Dixie Belle sea spray with my white chalk paste for the cotton balls. And that's what I've got for you. That's it. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. I hope that it informed you or maybe just entertained you. Be sure that you subscribe. And if you would like this, be sure to share it with a friend. I love it when you guys join me in the craft room. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next time. Until then, I hope you'll be safe, be healthy, be blessed, and be so inspired. Bye, guys.